As we get cracking. 3 players with Kevlar over on the Kova side of things. Arax with that kit. Twixie. HE in hand. That's deployed early. Doesn't really do too much damage. Instead, the Glocks are deadly up close. XANTARES sneaks right through, close to the wall. Goes unnoticed. And he's able to pounce. And they're not even going to play off the back of it. They're actually going to just play this kind of slow, methodical CS. Fall away from that first contact that they've taken. They don't need to over-aggress. They don't need to swarm into the B site and risk losing a round that's theirs for the taking. They just need to hold on to it. Minute 10 on this clock, and they've taken some contact towards top mid. Oh, it's just messy. The USPs need to be connecting the headshots, and they seem to be piercing the ears of the T players, shooting either side, but not where it's needed. 5v2, Eternal Fire. They haven't done anything too funky in this round. They've just taken the fight as they've come, and they seem to have won every single one of them. For Twixie and ZKS, it's save time. I mean, Twixie's got absolutely nothing to save. He was a util player, and he didn't even have a kit, so he's hoping for some kind of exit frag. ZKS holding on to his Kevlar. I mean, that's never what you want in your pistol round. Your player's fallen away saving, especially Twixie in that scenario. Quite literally nothing for him to save here, but he has managed to strip ahead. Emor gone. And Emor's happy to take the fight. Emor could have just fallen away there and survived. But again, there's really nothing for him to lose. There's pistol round, they've won it, they've got the bomb down. They've got plenty of money. They don't need to worry. As we go 1-0 up. Kova responds with a force buy. 2 for masses. That's Scout on Spargo for ZKS. That's actually where that rifle's come from. So ZKS was able to drop that rifle because he saved the Kevlar. He just buys himself a Eagle. That rifle gets dropped over. Not bad at all. Arax, Twixie, and Spargo actually get off to a really good start here. And Kova make the most of a bad situation and turn it around quite nicely. A minute 20 left to tick on this clock, and still just stagnant. Kova have no need to over-rotate at all here for Yuli. Just tucked in this corner. He has such early info that as the bomb tries to rotate around, they can justify keeping 3 players on that B site. He has the information early enough, even if he dies there, the rotates can come in time. Farisa miles away from the action. To go for a big old wraparound. He might actually be able to grab the bomb here, but with 40 seconds left of 4v1 and a Galil, I'm not sure if he's got much shot of the round. Finds the first, sprays away, does catch him. That's Yuli. He was the man that was the real spanner in the works earlier. And Farisa might be able to grab an AK. Yes, he does. The Fire Serpent, it's fierce. And it's looking to do some big damage. For now, Kova, a little bit undecisive of where he's going to go. Of course, he was last spotted in mid, so could really end up anywhere. The issue is, so many angles to clear on this A site, and he hasn't got time to do so. 10 seconds left. Knows there's one towards Library. No way he expects to pick up from Graveyard. And that's actually a really, really nice play. Just ZKS taking the contact there from Library. Kind of baits Issa into that false sense of security. Makes him think, oh, okay, that's the A player. I can get this bomb down. And he doesn't expect the Graveyard man to poke his head up and deny it. One to one, all tied up. Not a round you'd necessarily expect Kova to be winning. Now Eternal Fire want to give him a taste of their own medicine. Woxic with the Glass Scout. 2 Desert Eagles, a CZ, a Tech 9. I mentioned it in the last series when we saw a 5 Tech 9 buy. I like the Deagle nerf, I'll be honest, as much as I was a Deagle lover. And at this kind of caliber, when you've got really, really crispy aimers, obviously they've not been nerfed when it comes to headshots at all. They're still a one-hit headshot. But it's kind of diversified these force buy rounds. It means that rather than just seeing deagles on every man like we would formerly, you see a CZ, you see a Tech 9. It makes the other pistols definitely more viable. Brerax, just playing off the contact. Here's a couple of steps there, and Banana doesn't want to take his chances. Throws the early incendiary, and after he finds the first kill, he throws a smoke, falls away from it, spams one through it. And that's actually very, very well played from Arax. Although he does eventually fall, to take 2 down with him and get that early call in is fantastic, and it might just merit them the round at the end of it. Spargo with a spam through finds another head. That's 2 smoke kills so far this round. Oh my goodness, Woxic lucky to be alive there too. Just slips away from the MP9's grasp, and now has to take a more passive angle with that scout. Emor lines up the crosshair beautifully, even moves. They're not going to be expecting him here towards Emo. They're expecting him towards Coffin. Maybe they'll expect a late wrap from CT. The last place I think he is in this corner. He's been spotted though, and this is where things get complicated. Woxic dropped, and Emo just has to play the clock. Spins around, first headshot found. Lots of damage onto the second, but he can't convert it. And Twixie grabs the kit and grabs the round with it. You know, we might even see another force buy here from Eternal Fire. 4 kills on a bomb plant sometimes warrants it. As we see this banner pop up though, folks, remember, Pinnacle, we've got great promotions on teb.gg/welcome is the place to go if you want to sign up to Pinnacle, and code 421 is the one to use if you want an extra €10 when you deposit €10. Going into round number 4, Eternal Fire on... I don't even know what to call this. It's like a half force buy. They've kept themselves enough money to buy into the next. They've got a little bit of a loss bonus starting to accumulate. But they have still got some tools to work with. 3 Tech 9s, a P250, Woxic. Not invested into this one at all. He wants the extra cash for the AWP moving forward. Completely understandable. And they've kind of screwed themselves economically when it comes to the fact that they won the pistol and lost the follow-up, but the pistols seem to be doing all the work. Issa, my goodness, that is an incredible headshot. And when you take into account the fact that the flash at the start of the round completely whiffed, popped on the roof, didn't blind anybody, they've had a huge amount of success from that round. And that's it. Round over. 3 players with Kevlar. They've retrieved those rifles. Woxic with an M4 too. Issa will be able to drop that sniper over to him. And for Arax, it's just about trying to save. His teammates have got absolutely no money. They've got no loss bonus to fall back on. They'll be on double eco. They'll probably force around this rifle, so it's quite an important weapon to bring into the next. He's already being hunted. As he gets spotted here by XANTARES, there's no doubt that they should be chasing after him. They're not going to, though. Instead, they're playing their own game. They want to keep their own economy healthy. They know they're going to be against a rough buy in the next regardless. So they don't need to take any major risks, and I like that. Oh, there's the aforementioned weak buy. 2 Desert Eagles, a FAMAS, an MP9. Good early util damage. Only a tickle onto Spargo, but it stops the peak, and that's what's important. You don't want to give that Desert Eagle a range advantage. You don't want to give it a chance to swing out car and strip an early head. Banana control comfortably obtained for $400. You don't need to fight it if you can buy it with a Molotov. And as all 5 utilize that control, work their way up Banana. They've taken a fair bit of util damage so far. But now they have that firepower advantage as they burst right through. The MP9 caught with its pants down. Arax trying to get through the smoke. Does find one. But bearing in mind he's the only man with a premium rifle. We needed to do more. ZKS with one. Spargo with another. And oh my goodness, the collapse. The pistols seem to be doing all the work here on Inferno. The rifles are redundant. Because, my goodness, these Desert Eagles, Tech 9s, P250s, just about everything other than these M4s and AKs are getting everything done. Woxic yet to find a kill. This could be his chance to do so, though. 1v3. He's going to throw the AWP out the map. This means he's going for this. I like this from Woxic. Could have fallen away, saved the sniper, but they know they've got money. And he wants a crack at the clutch. 20 seconds left to spare, though. There's not a lot of time. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of chance there for him. I think he was pretty confident there was one behind, too. In that scenario, I reckon he would have just fallen away and saved the AWP. But he was terrified that he either falls away and then ends up dying with it. And then it's just a complete waste. Or he ends up just kind of lingering in banana. And then after time, they aggress to him and they take him down after time. That would be really worst case scenario. So they've got enough money to buy. Unfortunately, Calix hasn't quite. He's only down to the Deagle, but Woxic can pull out a sniper. The other three with the AK-47s. We saw those odds flash up at the start of the round. Kova still the underdogs, despite the fact that they've got off to a really good start here on Inferno. And even after losing that shaky pistol round, they reversed it with one of their own. Cheeky boost over the wall. Nothing spotted. Kova playing a little bit further back. No sniper available for them, but 5 rifles just as deadly. Ooh. And a little 1-for-1. Calix has done well to trade that too. This is kind of how these rounds fall apart when you've got a Deagle man that's required to trade and find these big frags and he can't connect. But Calix has found 2 right there, despite the contingency on the buy. Yuli has to try and pick up the pieces. 3v3, almost a dead even playing field with Emor on low HP. Twixie, a little bit late to react there, but he does find the kill regardless. And Emor, I mean, he's low, but so are 2 of his opponents. This is a very winnable clutch. He just needs to play it right. There's lots of time on the bomb, but the time pressure's still there. Unfortunately, can't connect with the first man. The smoke starts to fade, finds the first, swings out, headshot connected. And this is what I was talking about. When Emor comes alive, he's explosive. And for Twixie, he's bailed out. Emor's done it. He's clutched up the 1-on-3. What a monster. That is unbelievable. Even with the kit, Twixie doesn't fancy it. And that's a big round for Eternal Fire.
Terrorists win.
Unreal. I'm not sure why Twixie's not swinging short at the end there too. I mean, he was in position. It wasn't like he was miles away. If he was in bottom mid or something, absolutely makes sense. He hasn't got time to push up, sniff out where Emor is, and then try and get the defuse. But they knew Emor was on site. He was close enough to short to go for the late swing. Maybe just wasn't confident that he'd win the fight. Maybe they didn't know that Emor was as low HP as he was. Oh, what a sick. That's a way to find your first kill. Great opening. And Eternal Fire just need to find their groove. Of course, after winning the pistol round, they lost a couple. They had success on that force buy with the pistols. Then that last round, all off of the back of Emor's heroics. Now they need to, as I say, find their rhythm as a team. And then they'll be unstoppable. It's a very, very heavy setup here towards the A side, though. Kova have gone for the gamble, and so far, it seems to be paying off, but they need to find the kills, and as the flashes rain over, my goodness, it's an absolute swarm. Eternal Fire find every single frag without taking a single man. Despite taking a lot of damage, Calix even surviving on 4 points of health, holding on to the Mac 10. I think he could have upgraded there, but maybe he wants it going into this next round, knowing they're against an eco. As you see this Pinnacle promotion pop up, remember, our partners are Pinnacle. They're the ones that make all this possible. And if you head over to teb.gg/welcome, you sign up with code FALL21. I think you can go on teb.gg/fall as well. Then you can use that code. Take advantage of the promotion. for Kova. An eco stack towards 8. That looks like it's come up short. 3-man boost. I mean, I love it. Imagine you peek around the corner, you're met by that, then you've even got the crossfire, the man in the cubby. It would almost certainly merit you at least 1 kill. Unless all 3 were flashed, and they're all facing, no one's flying anti. But as I say, Eternal Fire, they walk straight onto the B-bomb site, they realise it's completely empty. I love the fact that Kova aren't even rotating for exit frags right now. They don't particularly want to feed Eternal Fire, and they kind of know that Eternal Fire are going to come hunting, so they're just going to hold this setup. And it can be just as surprising late round, even if the players are coming in from the archway, which Kova are absolutely ready for. Right now as well, Eternal Fire want the kills with the Mac 10, and there you go, Twixie, there's the first. They're going to push forward for the rifle, and they managed to grab it without being spotted. Airax doing damage too. 2 kills found as Twixie takes another with the Galil. Easter finally trades. And Calix wants a piece of the pie, a little bit of the action, only good for 1 though. That's an incredibly expensive round. Bearing in mind that's a full eco. For Kova to find 3 kills there is actually pretty impressive. Regardless, the odds shifting further away from their grasp. 5-3. The odds are looking at around about 5 to 1.1. Definitely not ideal. Decent bit of early user damage. KS, oh wow. Oh my goodness, what has just happened there? We didn't even get to see it from XANTARES' POV, but he's just walked through apps and stripped away 2 heads. That is unbelievable. Yuli, I'm not really sure what that is. It's definitely a foolish play, but it's a desperation play. In a scenario like that, both of the apps players have fallen. He knows that A is about to be overwhelmed, and he's hoping if he pushes through the smoke, he might be able to catch out a man in rotation. Unfortunately for him, that's not the case. Twixie and Airax, 2 remaining. And look at this. I mean, Eternal Fire, they've already got the bomb down, and they're already on the 4-man hunt. They know that the final 2 members are saving towards B. The reason that I'm not the biggest fan of Inferno, and I always criticize it, especially when I was casting with Grammat, was because you see these saves so prevalent. The rotations for the CTs between the 2 bomb sites is such a marathon that as soon as you lose a site, it's often more viable to just fall away and save. But for Eternal Fire, they're not allowing that. Most teams just kind of allow it. They say, okay, yeah, we've taken the site, 5v2, let them just hold on to their rifles. Eternal Fire want to bully their opponents right now. They want to kick them while they're down, make sure that no weapons are saved. As the force spy comes out from Kova, Kevlar on Airax and ZKS. That's all we'll see. It should be a 7th here for Eternal Fire. Ooh, Emot. I thought he'd find both there, but a nice headshot from Airax actually denies it. He's instantly traded by Issa though. Rotation from Spargo. And whilst it's unlikely, and I hate to put the pressure on him, Spargo needs to go big here if they want to win this round. Needs to hit a couple of big headshots. No Kevlar, only a Desert Eagle. The CT smoke's faded, so he's somewhat expecting somebody to push. He could go for a peek of his own. No longer as the secondary smoke's deployed. He kind of takes a step back from it. Is he just going to save? There's not really anything for him to save right here. I was expecting him to have a little crack at walking through it. Maybe try to deny the plant or something. Instead, just spamming the weight. Will eventually fall to XANTARES. And there's not even a rotation in for Yuli and ZKS. They're not saving anything. I mean, ZKS has got Kevlar and he's untouched. So he can kind of bring that into the next. They're against AKs anyway. So he wouldn't even upgrade to the helmet. It just feels crazy right now, though, that Kova are saving in this scenario. Exits would make sense. This, to me, really doesn't. Especially bearing in mind, like, Alex is coming down banana. If they're sitting bottom banana, they could have called him out, grabbed an AK. Would have been super valuable for Yuli. All he's done is brought a Desert Eagle into this next round, which most likely won't see the light of day. Rifles out. AWP on either side. Spargo versus Woxic. I know who I think is going to win it, but Spargo. This is one of his first opportunities here in this game to pull out this AWP and show us what he's made of with it, and he does so very, very nicely. Big opener. ZKS as well with the spam. Doesn't actually take any damage there. In fact, 13 points of it, but negligible amounts. The trades come through though, 4v2. ZKS finally tacked down low, but still not finished off. And oh my goodness, this timing is unbelievable. Twixie, aware of it though. Very, very smart from the man. Woxic misses a key shot, switches out to the Desert Eagle. And that is rough. They know exactly where he is. He's got 4 to try and fight against. And the fact that 3 of them are low on health is irrelevant. He's got an AWP and a Deagle. Neither weapon, the one you really want when you're in a fight against a low HP player. If he had the bomb on his back, he'd be able to go round to B and have a crack at this. But unfortunately, he's going to be stabbed in the back. Unfortunately, not the stab, though. And Twixie instead, bit of discipline, gets the headshot. They don't want a secondary sniper. They could have picked up another up there. They choose to opt against it. But they take a 4th round. And somehow the odds still shift further away from them, despite the fact they've taken that 4th round. I think these are just kind of like fairly set in stone. I think people are pretty confident that Eternal Fire will take this map and the series with it. It's interesting. What's even more interesting is that util that's dropped in spawn as well. I'm not sure if that's been picked up or whether that's actually left there for any kind of rotation later in the round. Good nade though. Tags down Woxic very low. He's expecting a peek from the corner, but the nade does 2 things. The nade does damage to anybody that's on the corner, which, okay, it doesn't. But it also provides that kind of cloud. Without throwing a smoke grenade, it provides that very temporary smoke of dirt that gives him enough cover to jump across without Woxic spotting it. For Woxic. Methodically, slowly, checking all his angles. As he works his way up mid. Damage taken early in the round, but now 50 seconds left and they need to get a move on. Issa still over towards B Banana. And that gives them an avenue to fall back and actually hit this B site if they want to. Now, Kova haven't moved the muscle. They've still got 2 players on the B site defending. Aerox actually boosted up as well, so a very powerful position for him that's often overlooked. Now, purely down to the fact that if you've got a crossfire, you've got a man in U-box, you push out onto the site, you're being fought from behind the fountain, and it can be very difficult to divert your attention towards CT, and there you go, perfect example of it. XANTARES out first, looking the wrong way. Aerox good for 1, and the spray onto the second. Twixie, he will be taken out from behind as Nemor tries to recover it. Spams through towards the coffins, but oh my goodness, he loses the fight. Calyx. Huge play there to push through the smoke. Massive balls on the man, but unfortunately, they've been timed out by the clock. No point in trying to get that bomb down. It would have been denied anyway, but they didn't have enough time to do so regardless. And it goes 7-5. This scoreline really starting to close up, and I assume the odds will with it. I can't imagine we'll see these odds as one-sided as they are if this kind of Counter-Strike continues, because Kova are really in this. Sparko once again with the opening pick. I mean, that's huge. Onto Emor this time. Calyx the second to drop. This is a full buy from Eternal Fire and probably their last one before they have to maybe not necessarily drop down to an eco, but drop down to something. I'm not sure what they're going to go for next round, you know. Calix has got some money, but Farisa and Woxic, are they going to have to be the banks? Are they going to have to drop over to Emor and XANTARES? That might have to be the game plan. Maybe a half buy instead. All depends on what Issa and Woxic go for here. If they save, we'll definitely see a buy in the next. If they don't, we could just see a half investment. 5v2. Their positioning right now indicates that they are going to try and go for this, or at least try and go for some picks, and then if they manage to take 1 or 2 men, then they pounce off of it for Woxic. Might be able to catch out the rotator. Oh no! That's rough. I felt like that connected. Unfortunately, it doesn't. And Yuli traces the bullets right through the smoke, finishes off Issa. Somehow misses his E key and can't grab the AK, but it shouldn't matter too much because they're going to be up against a weak buy in this round regardless. There's that aim trainer, teb.gg/3D aim trainer if you want to check that one out. It's over on Steam as well. And here we go, couple of Galils. In fact, 3 of them. Issa with that AK. Woxic can just about pull out an AWP and some Kevlar. Nothing else behind it though, no utility. Could have been dropped some, but I think the AWP's at the bottom of the priority list when it comes to the nades. Far more important that his duo, his supporting man, has got that utility to bail him out of situations, and Woxic can just try and go for some early picks. Interesting configuration from Kova here towards A short. They've now got 3 players there. Somewhat neglecting apartments. Finally. Sightline back up to it. Spargo. Ooh, just misses the shot. DKS though to follow up. Spargo with another, and the Panthers actually worked really nicely. And the 3-man configuration towards short has just completely crumbled. It didn't work at all. It's very, very hard to hold the apartments from short, especially when the execute comes through and you're being pincered from both angles. Really strong stuff. The long player trying to push through the smoke didn't work out at all either. It somewhat made sense, but wasn't successful, of course. Now 7-6. And a very, very difficult position to try and get out of. This is going to be 8 here for Eternal Fire. They'll be playing for a 9-6 half. Luckily for Kova, they do have money, so they will be able to buy up. They'll try and make this 7 for them. If they can't, it'll be 9-6. But at the end of the day, this is Eternal Fire's map pick. This is actually their best map in the pool. And yeah, to be putting up a fight like this, for it to be as close as it is right now, isn't bad at all. Yeah, for Eternal Fire, it's this or Dust 2. Unfortunately, they couldn't pick Dust 2, though. Kova insta-banned it. Issa. Bursting up Banana. No contention as well. Look at that. Nobody trying to fight it. Airax has been flashed so many times. He has no choice but to fall away to CT. And he can be completely taken out here by just a smoke grenade or a molly. Instead, they fall away from it. They've taken a lot of contact towards B. They've made a lot of noise. They've actually drawn a rotation off of the A bomb site. And they've got mid, second mid, and apartments control. So, plenty of legroom to work with over towards this A bomb site. They don't know it yet, but they've actually been gifted brackets as well. So as they flash through, they'll realise that short's clear, long's clear. And they could push through and execute onto the A side, but they're still playing mind games. With a minute left on this clock, the B rotate drawn back over again. So Airax is now over towards long. This would be smart if Eternal Fire backtracked and went back towards the B side of things. Instead, they are going to commit to A. The flash is absolutely perfect. TKS, that is unreal. The first fully blinds Emor. The second doesn't quite get Callus. He's playing anti, but with his back turned, he can't do a lot. And XANTARES blinded as well. Can't quite be finished off, but he's tacked down low enough that his teammates are able to pick it up. And what a round there from Kova. Really, really nice read. Complete shutdown. Woxic does connect the flick, but it's not the kill. And it's Spargo to finish things off as Twixie just kind of ducks and dives, gets himself into Mexi. 8-7. Good half. Good half from both sides, to be honest. I'm a little bit more impressed with Kova there, though. Bearing in mind, this isn't their map pick. One that they're not too comfortable with. And a quick technical pause. We just saw that banner pop up. Remember, bet €10, get €10 over at Pinnacle. Our partners for this tournament. If you go over to teb.gg/welcome, that's where you can sign up to Pinnacle and take advantage of that brilliant promotion they've got going on with code 421. Another tech pause as we saw a disconnect. I think it might have been Spargo, but I didn't quite see. Either way, he's back in the server now. Ready to rumble. Feels like the kill distribution is a little bit better over towards Kova, actually. 3 players on double digits. They're all within 4 kills of each other. On the other side of things, Emor actually the only man breaching into that double digits range. Woxic really struggling. Going 3-7 right now. Struggling to put up those numbers. Struggling to have an impact with that AWP. I don't think it's necessarily an issue with him missing shots. We have seen him miss a couple of key shots, but I don't think him missing shots has been an issue. What's been an issue is just his lack of opportunity. He's not been the first man in. He's not been the man using that AWP to try and open things up on that T side. And often his teammates would fall and he'd just find himself in like an impossible clutch situation where he's in like a 1-in-3, 1-on-4. And he'd either just have to save through the AWP out of the map. We saw that happen a few times. Maybe on the CT side he can have more of an impact. I'd either like to see him play this kind of real cannon roll, maybe over towards the A-bomb site, or this kind of real versatile style of AWPing where he just comes from anywhere, goes for a peek second mid, maybe goes for a peek on A, sometimes rotates to B. Just a complete shutdown towards the A side of things, though. Emor, once again, just an absolute monster. 3 kills for him. That's going to bolster him up to 16, so it extends that gap even further as XANTARES joins the double digits party. Look at that, Emor. Yeah, 16-11. An absolute shutdown over towards that A side of things. I'm not sure if we get to see a replay or anything of that, but that was crisp. When the Glocks come in and they're just a hair's breadth away from you, and you've got a USP, and you've got to try and take all those close-range fights against the Glocks, it can be very, very difficult. But he actually does it and deals with it very, very nicely. Full eco here for Kova with no bomb plant. They say, yep, we're not going to try and force into this. Twixie's just going to duck under the scout there. I like that. Knows he's late to cross. Knows that Woxic's deadly with the scout. This should just be a complete shutdown for XANTARES. If these Glocks just swarm him, I mean, there's no flash or anything to accompany it, and that's the only time, really, that the Glocks can do some damage as they funnel in. Calyx will fall, of course, he's only got the MP9, and oh, the M4 whiffs. Couple of kills do convert. And that's not a bad round for Kova, you know. The only man without a premium rifle as well is Woxic, and he's nowhere to be seen, so he can't even retrieve that M4. That's good damage. An MP9 and an M4 gone. For Kova, they can go for a buy here. AK's back out. A similar investment on the other side of things, but Woxic's still down to that scout, so definitely a hole in the defense there. We know he's very capable with it, but he hasn't shown it so far this game. Woxic completely flashed off mid as well. Wanted to go for a peek there, but can't do so. The molly. faced. It does mean that no one could face if they were going to. No one was even close to it. After all those flashbangs, though, he was paranoid. Very, very paranoid that there could have been a fast play up mid and he'd be in trouble. It just feels like so much of this utility is really premature. XANTARES like jiggling on that angle. Okay, when he takes contact, he wants to throw the molly. But that's such an important piece of util, and it's completely gone to waste. Hoping that it would make that CT smoke land out of position, give him a gap. I mean, if it had worked, it was smart. But Kova have done a really, really good job at just baiting out this CT utility before going for the execution late in the round. They know they haven't got a lot of util of their own. They're not on the best buy right now. So run down this clock, run down your opponent's utility, then go for the execution. They've got nothing left to throw at you except a few flashbangs. That's what we're seeing right now. Final HE deployed, has not done any damage, and now it's going to be a B execution. Nothing left to defend. XANTARES and Calyx, only the bullets to try and stop the push from coming through. And as the 1-for-1 trades convert, Calyx, he loses his life. 3v3, smoke down in CT, C4 going to be planted. But there's no util left for either side except these two flashes for Eternal Fire. Woxic up close with a scout. Not the weapon you want in these scenarios, but still finds one. Spargo trades on the swing, but Emor's there to take it right back. Yuli with a great one-tap, but he can't convert the 1v1. Emor, once again, the clutch master, keeping his team ahead in this one.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
11-7, Eternal Fire. Once again, it's coming incredibly close. But they are pulling ahead. They are taking it. Again, consistently. And it seems to be Emor kind of maintaining composure in those high-pressure situations. Kova calling a quick timeout. Not too surprised, to be honest. This is a difficult one. They got the bomb down in the last round. It came down to a 1v1. 4 kills and a bomb plant gives you a lot of money. And they've got, well, they did have enough money to go for somewhat of a buy. Especially being on that T side. Everything's a little bit cheaper. Could have seen some AKs come out. Would have been a couple of contingencies. There wouldn't have been an AWP available. There wouldn't have been a lot of util. I think that ended up causing them some problems last round. Especially post-plant. When they really could have done with a couple of smokes, maybe a couple of mollies. Oof, that is a lot of nade damage. Get those nades right down mid. It looks like Kova are going to try and go for some kind of execution towards the A site. Now, they've kind of guessed correctly here. There's only 2 defenders. Issa down in pit. He's got a nice one-way with his smoke, but as it starts to fade, expect a chimney flash to come in, maybe even one. Yeah, this is going to be Airax just throwing all the util here. He's got 2 flashes, so he can pop them over the top. And we'll see an Apps waterfall here. Issa does not know what he's in for. That doesn't quite blind him, though. Tucked in the corner, the wall provides him with enough cover. ZKS finally trades it, but not before his teammates have fallen. And he quite quickly follows suit. 12-7. Eternal Fire really, really running away with this. Pinnacle, win more with low margins, bet more with high limits. Remember, teb.gg/welcome is where you can get the latest in-play betting odds here for the Pinnacle Cup. And if you sign up using code FULL21, then you get a nice little bonus too. They've got some good promotions going on at the moment, so make sure you check it out. This being our last match of the day, you definitely don't want to be missing out. Four AKs and AWP on Spargo. He's actually been really good with it this map. I wasn't sure if he'd be a match for Woxic, but he absolutely has been. Woxic just patient. Patient as ever. Holding top mid. The issue is that this smoke landing behind him doesn't give him too many exit options. He's got support from his teammate, but he needs to hit these shots. And it looks like Kova are starting to backtrack here. They've caused such a commotion over towards the A side of things that they've drawn all the rotations. Now, for Arex, they're not actually going back to B, but Arex's presence here towards Banana will keep Eternal Fire busy. Big shot from Woxic, finally converting one of these high-impact AWP shots. And with 30 seconds left, it seems like Kova are actually going for plan B. XANTARES on a fast rotate. Smoke goes down. For Kova, they've not made a sound, but Woxic still doing damage. Another kill, taking out the late lurk towards the A-bomb site. 4v3. And as the push comes out, no smoke for CT, but 2 big headshots to be delivered. And Arex and ZKS tip this one on its head. 2v2. Winnable, but probably not likely, bearing in mind they're both so low on health. That was a big whiff from Woxic, and it almost cost him his life. Luckily still alive, though, and still here to do damage. A 3rd kill for the round for the man. And he's really come alive here in this one. Number 20 seems to have been his calling. The spray away. ZKS actually kills Issa, who's the full HP player, and could have very, very easily taken down Woxic. But unfortunately for him, Woxic delivers, and we go 13-7. Well, a lot of nades early once again. Just tons and tons of early HE damage. Twixie and Arex already tagged down so low. For Woxic. Once again, needs a big round. That's if they backtrack over towards this A side. It's kind of been a bounce between the two. Kova have been fairly undecisive. Yuli almost spotted out. I'm not sure. Emor might have seen the gun barrel. Might bait them into a bit of a false sense of security. Doesn't call any B rotations over, though, but it keeps 3 on A busy as the nades start to fall. I think they know what's up. XANTARES spraying away, but Yuli's already found the first. Arex onto Calyx as well. Really does turn this on around. The XANTARES boosted up, should catch out. One think on the second. It's so unfortunate he can't finish Spargo. Twixie and Spargo are so low on health, and Woxic spamming through the smoke almost denies the plant. Instead takes his teammate. This is a very, very winnable round, and Issa's not rotating because they've already taken it. The time had run out. I didn't even realize. I wasn't keeping an eye on the clock, and they've completely timed themselves out there. Kova, that's a huge mistake. I was thinking, what on earth is Issa doing? Why is he not rotated? But he was keeping an eye on that clock, and it was the smart move. A shaky force here for Kova. Of course, they carried weapons across from the last, so they're not going to eco here. And because they didn't get any money, because they survived after time as well, there's no option to eco. They've got no cash. They kind of have to come into this one. It's a bit of a worst case scenario this late in the game, because Eternal Fire are about to put themselves onto 15. And Kova are going to have absolutely no cash going into next round. They'll have the loss though. That'll be something they'll have to work with. because they won't have anything behind it. There you go, $3,500 to try and fight the final round here of Inferno Eternal Fire. They were looking a little bit shaky in the first half. I thought we'd maybe see a close map on our hands, but since going over to the CT side, they've been absolutely unstoppable. They've taken 7 in a row, and it looks like they might be about to make it 8. They've got, how many chances they got to close here? 8 chances to close before they have to worry about overtime. This is probably their best chance to do so, though. A very weak buy here once again from Kova. Galil's a scout on Spargo to face up against Woxix AWP. I'm not sure if that's a fair fight. A lot of util retained here for Eternal Fire. I think they've learnt their lesson not to deploy it early because they know that Kova like to run it down, and there you go. Such a good read. XANTARES even expecting the boost. Too early kills found. The spray through the smoke. He needs to be aware that DKS could push through, and he does so. But Kalik should be there to pick up the pieces. Still full on health. DKS tagged up a little, but it doesn't matter. Converts the kill. 3v3. Damage taken here for the T side. They might still be able to pull this one off. Spargo somehow not been able to upgrade off of that scout. It's because he's still in banana. If he was up on the site, he would have grabbed one of those M4s. Instead, the lesser premium weapon, Eternal Fire, taking their sweet time on this retake, though. They're going to all burst through from CT, and I actually quite like this. Kova, though. Oh, they've saved a late molly. They've actually got another incendiary as well, so this is it. Eternal Fire can't go for the retake. They have to fall away. They've been timed out. That's a real shame. We will find the kills on the exit. At least one of them. There you go. There's the second. Spargo will survive, but only with the scout. So, whilst Kova do win the round, they win it, and I suppose they've got to take that with a bit of a pinch of salt because they still don't have any cash. Spargo managed to upgrade to an AK just before that clock expired. So they don't only have the scout. They do have a little bit of an extra punch, but it's still 2 Galils, 3 AKs is not the best of buys. We saw those odds pop up, and my goodness, are they in favour of Eternal Fire? They're not as one-sided as we saw in the previous series between OneWin and Tricked, but I think that's because we started off on Tricked's map pick. So as soon as they started losing Overpass, it was kind of game over because we knew they weren't going to win Vertigo. Whereas here, even though Eternal Fire are putting up a fantastic performance on their own map pick of Inferno, we know that Kova are very, very capable on Nuke, and that there's a chance that we still end up going to a third map. That's really unfortunate from Woxic. Connects to the leg of Twixie. And I think Twixie should be picking up this sniper here, regardless of how confident he is with it. He's on 15 HP, and instead he wants to burst through with the Galil and be the bait man, and the bait man, once he does get the information, the flashes are brilliant, and Calix, well, he goes 1 for 1, but he's done a lot of damage to spam away. Oh my goodness, that is unbelievable. Does even further damage onto a low ZKS. But can't finish him off. 15 to 8. Could be 16 if Eternal Fire can close this one out. We saw a 3v3 retake in the last round. Unsuccessful for the CT side. But that was due to the retained utility from the team members defending the bomb site. This time they've got nothing but firepower, and Spargo's called upon in the 1v3, connects for the first. It's a great flick, but he can't take the second, and it's going to be 16-8 for Eternal Fire. The defuse comes through just in the nick of time.